Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to give you an overview on my Rcmodelex.com's Jeep YJ. The thing about Rcmodelex.com's vehicles is the chassis. He makes them all one piece solid steel powder coated chassis. So the front bumper, side rock rails, and rear bumper and tire holder are all one solid piece of steel. And of course he makes it so the body just quickly and easily bolts right on. Now this body bolts on 2 screws in the rear and one on either side of the vehicle from here. Also he builds and sells roof racks. This one is with the storage unit on top, and of course I've got some scale details on top, including a full-size spare, and I used to have that on there. Some Japanese off-road lights. He also sells snorkels. The interior and the Lexan glass is on eBay. And I believe it came out of Israel or something. I also have another full-size 1.55 Desert King tire, and the tires that I have wrapped on it down here are 1.55 Mudslingers. The axles are the K44s from rcfourwheeldrive.com. And this kit I got, this is pretty much his fully assembled kit. It comes with the best axles, with the 4-link suspension, with the body and all the light buckets and accessories. And it's all assembled too. On this front bumper though, it doesn't come with shackles. These are the RC 4-wheel drive shackles. This is the 3 racing winch. He makes the front bumper so that it fits this. I believe the RC 4-wheel drive Bulldog winches won't fit. And this winch also has the Mad Dog RC winch upgrade, which includes a new hook. I believe it's like an 8-foot or 10-foot cable, a new fair lead, and the most important part is, it's hard to see, but just to the left of the silver shiny metal roll piece is a clear plastic piece, spacer, that prevents your cord from going over the loop and getting wound and caught. It's an absolute necessary upgrade for anybody who actually wants to use their winch. This front top light bar is an aftermarket piece that I got out of eBay from, I believe it came from London. It's abysma.com. But the lights I used to have mounted here before, every time I'd roll over, they would break right off. So this has a nice little roll bar right above it. I get a lot of people asking about the tires. I do have the stock foams in it, but I've drilled holes in the beadlock rim, the silver shiny interior piece, so you'll hear the air moving in and out of them. And also what I think what's happening here is supposedly water will deteriorate your foams, and I've ran these tires in water a lot, so that might be why the tires appear to be more softer than usual. But they're the stock RC 4-wheel drive foams, which are kind of stiff from the store. Also, I enjoy the SCX 10 springs for that good bounce. I like the bounce. Looks great in slow motion. Some of the exterior details, the paint, this is to me a gunmetal gray. This is just to me a black. But the good thing about having black on the fenders is that whenever they get scratched up, I'll just take a permanent marker and patch up the work. This is just glued on. Most of the stickers from rpphobby.com. Some of the accent details, like this bolt, this door hinge bolt, I just used the black permanent marker to paint it, and then for the bolts themselves I used a silver or metallic silver Sharpie marker to paint in the bolts. I also applied the rusting technique, and I might do a detailed video on the rusting. But you know, just hit the major parts, the bolts, the rear bumper, and the shackles. Now let's open the vehicle up and take a look at the inside. Moving inside the vehicle, and also for the front, this isn't broken. I actually made this gap so that the wires can go through, and these are just orange LEDs. Currently I'm running the Axial SCX10 shocks on it. It came with 80mm progressive RC four-wheel drive shocks. I enjoy them. I just wanted to try these out, so they're in a testing phase. I've also added a lot of weight in the front because, well, the body has the giant heavy roll cage and 2 full spare tires on it. The motor, I've got a Holmes Hobbies 35 turn motor in it. And this is a Willie King transmission, which goes into the RC four-wheel drive transfer case, buried all the way down here. I'll flip the vehicle over to show you. Receiver, a stock Axial AE2 speed controller, which is just amazing. Full drag brake, all that crap. 5,000 mAh battery. And here's how the rear spare tire works. Just screws right onto there. 3 different positions for the shock mounting. 3 holes. Here's where the body mounts up. Right above the rock rail, you can see the screw, and there's the rear screws. It's not very pretty, but it works. Also, this piece right here is the winch controller, which I've installed and then also made waterproof. I've waterproofed everything with just the liquid electrical tape. For the underside interior of the body, you'll see where I've done the LEDs. Then here is the LED light controller. And of course, once I finalized what I wanted, put all the lights in, I then waterproofed it as well. And here you can see the interior of the Lexan interior, just held together through the side mirrors. Here's the bolts for the roof rack. Okay, flipping the vehicle over, you can see how the front servos is installed. He has chassis mounted spots just pre-drilled for you. You just slap your servo right into it. Here's another shot of the K44 axles, and I've upgraded them with the ARB diff covers, and I'm glad I did because right when I was installing it on the original, I've noticed that half of the bolts had already started backing out and I was about to lose them, so I'm glad that this happened. Also, if you've got any of these RC four-wheel drive axles, be sure and take these screws out and re-Loctite them. The very first run I've checked on my vehicle, for some reason it flipped, and I just happened to notice that both of these screws were half backed out, and I almost lost them and put a lot of Loctite on them. This axle also comes with the upgraded, I think they're called CVDs, so for more turning radius. In this shot, we can see that the motor goes into the transmission, which goes into the transfer case, and then it sends it out to the 2 axles. And it kind of looks like a steep, sharp angle, but I have no binding issues whatsoever. And everything on this chassis, he sells the chassis both in the almost full ready run kit, or almost trail ready, or the chassis only kit. And it's all pre-drilled to take all this stuff, and even sells the links by itself too. And it's made for the RC four-wheel drive transfer case, and it's made for the Willie King transmission. So those are the 2 proprietary items that you pretty much have to have. You probably could put something else in here. I just have not tried it. But the Willie King transmission is $20, and this thing I think is only $50 for the transfer case. Here are the power switches that just have velcroed onto the side of the AE2 speed controller. One for power, and one I have a dedicated light/winch control. So if I don't ever want the winch winch or lights to be draining the battery, I've got a hard kill switch. Stay tuned for next time where I'll show you the Land Rover D110.